That's it. You want to know why? Nothing can stop me. I'm all the way up.
Kick off today's episode.
Boom. Listen, I've been home today because it's election day. I hope everybody went out there and did their civic duty and voted for something. You know, there are elections in years where it's not president. Local government actually matters. You know, who you have as your local judges and, you know, who runs your town and stuff like that. It's actually pretty important. But I've been home and I've been chugging caffeinated beverages all day. So I'm all the way up right now. I don't know what the hell's gonna happen in this episode. I gotta tell you, man. I know you're towards the end of the day. You're winding down. It's like 3:30 p.m. in Mexico, so you're like a half hour away from your bedtime. You're like an old person who goes out and gets like early bird specials at Denny's and gets dinner at like 2:30 on a Sunday. I'll take the half a sandwich and the soup, please. That's you. I know you're gonna go to sleep, but I'm excited today. You wanna know why? I'm excited? Because there's still so much sports. Baseball, we still got the World Series. Are the Astros going to come back tonight? You know, what's going to happen there? You know, the Braves had a chance to step on their throats. They're up by many, many runs. They're up, I think, up by 4 in a deciding Game 5, up 3-1, about to close it down. They couldn't close out the Astros. Got to give the Astros a lot of credit. You got basketball kicking into full swing, right? You got football was the trade deadline today. Really uneventful. I mean, Von Miller was a big trade. We talked about that yesterday.
I miss when football trade deadlines had some stuff. Like, do you remember they traded Clinton Portis for who was it? Who was the cornerback?
Champ Bailey.
Do you remember that? That was kind of cool.
It was a big trade. I mean, those were like the faces of the teams for a while, and they became the faces of other teams. You usually don't get that. I mean, we can talk about the Rams really going for it. We can talk about the Rams announcement. I mean, football trade deadline, football picking up. We got to talk about Mahomes last night. We got hockey, which nobody cares about. We got, baseball is fun. Basketball.
People care. We don't know. It's just like we got to.
Just like to say that. We got the sports talk thing. Boomer Esiason does a 660 here. And he used to do it with Carton before Carton, got in trouble and had to go to jail. And now he's back on the radio because everybody loves a second chance. Everybody loves a comeback. But they used to say nobody cares about hockey, Boomer, because they would talk about every sport, and their Boomer was all talking about like the Islanders, and he'd be like, nobody cares about hockey. People are gonna stop listening.
I mean, we know our core competencies, right? Like people asked us, there's this new blockchain digital platform called Vive out there, which is it's like a centralized platform where you can buy Marvel or DC NFTs, digital collectibles. Have you been on it?
I have. I tried to get on. It was a little confusing. And it's one of those things, right? I'm kind of dumb that way, right? It does speak about the user interface and stuff like that and whether I give it a first try or a second try, right? Top Shot, when I tried to get on, it was easy to get on. So I stayed on and gave him my money. Tops, baseball, like Wax, I tried to get on. I couldn't get on. I never went back. Vive, I did. I tried to get in there. One of the first like Marvel type comic things. They had like a Marvel release. I tried to get in. I couldn't get money in. I couldn't get an account set up. Done. I couldn't do it. It was difficult.
So let me frame this episode so it doesn't derail and go off. Guys, we're gonna make an announcement about our Lucas Tigers NFT. We're gonna make a quick announcement about our Lucas Tigers NFTs. We have an updated roadmap. What we're gonna be doing with them for 2022. All that stuff. We'll talk about that for 5 minutes. Then we'll talk yesterday. I think it was 5 different underdogs won yesterday in the NBA. Not only that, there were 3 teams that were up by 15 points, and then they ended up losing. So
how'd your Knicks do?
I mean, it was a crazy day in NBA. If you want to start off with that, you don't want to talk about we have Champs League. We'll talk a little bit about that.
I mean, Champs League. Who can't go an episode without talking soccer? I mean, it's huge stuff.
Do you like soccer?
I like playing it. I would love to play some soccer. I am a goalie extraordinaire. I'll give you 5 penalty kicks. You might get 1 in.
You really?
Really.
That's a bold statement.
I know, but I didn't tell you how small the net was going to be. It's going to be one of those tiny little indoor nets. It's not going to be like a real one.
So real quick with the Tiger NFT.
Well, let me ask you a question. Before we go Tigers, we're talking about hockey. I have a question for you. It's a real sports question, right? Because this is going to be everybody's favorite episode. I hope so. Off the rails. I'm on Coke, Diet Coke, not the kind you're thinking of. So, how come hockey teams don't go to Asia and watch sumo events and take the biggest sumo wrestler and stick goalie pads on him and shove him in the goal? and then say, okay, go ahead, score on us. How come they don't do that? Why is that never done? I need to hear your answer.
That might be insulting to
what?
To hockey goalies. That might be a little bit insulting to hockey goalies.
Why? Why can't you just get the fattest guy in the world? It doesn't have to be a sumo.
Because they're athletic. They're flexible. Like, the goalies are good, man. The goalies
have you ever watched a sumo match? They will whoop your ass.
They can't sit in a split.
That's why I went sumo, because I knew where you were going to go.
They can't sit in
that guy on the couch.
Sorry.
It's all right. It's not
like sniffles. I don't know what's going on, man.
Okay. You just blow your nose. It's good. There's got to be some Russian saying for it. Like, we're all going to get rich because you have snot. There's some Russian saying about everything where we all get
Russians
rich.
Are superstitious. Can I ask you something? If you were the host of a podcast, would you lead it like this every single day?
Oh my God, no. I'm only doing this because I wish people will be watching on YouTube more often, right? I want people to see your face right now. There are people listening and they're laughing.
Well, I'm wildly uncomfortable because if I was listening, I'm 6 minutes in, my time is valuable, and these guys are talking about God knows what.
What? That is a legit question. Okay, if there are sports fans out there right now,
it's a legit question,
and they're not lying. They don't lie to themselves. They've thought of that. They've definitely thought to themselves, "How come? Maybe there's a hockey person who will tell me there's something in the rule book, but why can't you just get a gigantic person?
What would be in the rule book?
I don't know, but there has to be something against it, because why wouldn't you just do it? The other team can't score."
All right. Well, while you're talking, I guess I'll go search
sumo
wrestler card.
Put pads and a mask and just shove the guy like a cartoon. Just fat rolls everywhere and just shove him into the goal, and you can't get a goal in. No.
All right. Well, this is what I do, guys. But believe it or not, this is how I do research. So I get a vote of inspiration from my co-host. I go and I look up sumo wrestling cards. So there's a 1955 Parkhurst wrestling
card. Look at that. Would you look at this? There's sumo cards. Oh my God. I have to buy this.
Why do you have to buy this?
Because it's amazing. That's amazing. I have to get it. I'm going to go buy it. That's crazy. No, but forget about it, because it's hockey. And by the way, that would make hockey awesome. Imagine turning on a hockey game and seeing and listening to the announcer. Well, the other team can't score because we have this tremendous sumo wrestler in net. He's blocking the whole goal. No one can get a shot in. Like, what would that do to the sport? And then the other team's got to go get a sumo wrestler. Then no one can ever score. And every game ends 0-0.
As excited as I am to give the NFT announcement, I know that we're going to lose everybody. So instead, let's talk about everybody. Let's talk about Mahomes, man. They beat the Giants, the lowly Giants, but he still didn't look right, man. He's still throwing. He's still forcing the ball. So what's your analysis, man? Like, when's enough? When, if at all, do you think there's going to be a sell-off? How do you play the Mahomes market? Are you going to do a little bit of "I told you so," even though it's a little bit delayed since you were kind of like 2 years late on it?
No,
because you said
no "I told you so." There's no "I told you so." The real "I told you so" would come if Herbert starts to stink it up. Because coming into the year, I said Herbert was crazy. Mahomes is a little crazy too, but I mean, listen, here's a fun thing. Mahomes is still very young, right? And he's already done more than most people have. I don't know what the story is. I'm still waiting for some news to come out that he's either, got an injury that they're just not telling people about, some sort of shoulder thing, you name it. Because what's weird is it's like he doesn't have a grip. The fumbles were scary. I mean, he has 10 interceptions, but I think if you go back and look, not that this isn't it, everybody gets bounced balls, but half of them have to be deflections off of his receiver and into the hands, just like the one last night. And I've seen half of them have to, maybe more than half, or he hit his receiver. But part of that is, I think he's trying to do too much. I think the team is trying to do too much. I think the team, sometimes you can read your own clippings. What's funny is Kansas City has a great offensive line. They have a great offensive line. And when teams have great offensive lines, you know what they do? They run the ball. And that's boring. And when you have stars like this, right, they all want to eat. They all want to be fed. And nobody wants Gore running the ball. Because Gore's a nobody. He's not Tyreek Hill. He's not.
So
Kelsey, not Patrick Mahomes. Go ahead.
So when the teams want so much, this is what they talk about with ego. Yep. The goal no longer is just winning. It's how can I contribute the most to win? And there's a little bit of like, hey, give me the ball.
They try too hard, and Mahomes is doing that, and Kelsey's doing that. And you have too many guys out there who think they all should be the number one pick in fantasy. It's not fantasy. It's the NFL. The game is won in the NFL very differently than a fantasy league is won, right? And you can't go out there. I mean, Andy Reid, you would think a coach like that who's accomplished.
I was going to talk about Andy Reid.
Would turn around and say, you know what? There are going to be games where you do not get your 5 plays called for you. There are going to be matchups where the defense is going to be taking Travis Kelce out of the game, and we're going to have to figure out a way. There are going to be games where we go in and we're going to have to lean on the running back. I mean, if you watch that game last night, I would replay it if you didn't watch it. Every time they hand the ball to this kid Gore, he's 6-7 yards. Like, they could have just kept doing it because nobody was trying to stop him. The defense was not planning to stop it, but for some reason they went away from that and they tried to throw the ball. I mean, that first drive was perfect. They just down the field. The receivers were getting separation. They were going nuts. Why I say Mahomes trying too much and why I think he might be injured, their longest pass play of the night. Do you know what it was?
15 to 20 yards.
So it was like a 20-something yarder to Mecole Hardman. That was the tap pass. It was the one that Mahomes got directly to him, and Hardman was running in front of him, and he tapped it to him like a half a yard pass that Hardman took off. So I don't see Mahomes making those down the field throws anymore. He's throwing a lot of slants, a lot of quick stuff, a lot of outs, but not down the field like you have seen him do previously. And it really is. It's an interesting thing to watch because it's not that he forgot how to play football. You know what I mean? It's like to beat some of the teams they're playing against, they don't have to do all of the razzle-dazzle craziness, right? The Giants, it's okay. Let them run a weird wide receiver pass. Why? Tell me why. On that drive, the opening drive, where they literally have the Giants on roller skates going backwards, right? They couldn't stop. The Giants couldn't stop them at all. Why, when you get first and goal, second and goal, and it's a 3-4 yarder, you got Travis Kelce, you got all these receivers. Why are you doing plays that are like handoff, reverse, throw it back? Like flea flicker type plays. You're 5 year. It's first and goal. I mean, you're in a goal to go situation. You don't have to get nuts there. You're the Chiefs. You should be demolishing this team. You don't have to be so crazy. You don't have to. And it's funny too, man, because I got to tell you.
Tell me.
I watched after the game. They had Mahomes was being interviewed. I think it was Susie Colbert or whoever the ESPN person was said, "Hey, Patrick, you won the game, but you told me coming in you wanted to have a definitive win. You wanted to go out there and and like basically like silence the doubters. You really weren't able to do that." And he had to like backpedal and be like, "Well, we wanted to just come out here and show that we could do what we needed to do." So it wasn't enough. Like, think about that. It wasn't enough for them to come in there and say, "Okay, we're a better team. We're going to beat this team." They came in specifically saying, "We got to cover. We got to win this by double digits. We're so much better than them, and we have all these critics out there. We got to go out there and we got to make these plays. We got to get Tyreek his yards. We got to get all this." I mean, why? Just do what got you there, right? Do the small stuff.
It's like
if I would read, I would switch the whole thing up, man. I would have Mahomes handing the ball off a lot more. I really would, because it would surprise the shit out of people. Shoot.
Oh, incredible 8-minute monologue. But
got it. Can't be 8. You told me I was 6.5 minutes into it before where we were going off the rails. Then you talked a little bit about some other stuff, and now we're only 13 in, so it can't be more than 6.
No, I mean, they remind me of, the basketball team that's down 20, has a rough year and tries to make it all up with one kind of Hail Mary 3-pointer. I hear what you're saying. Let's keep it moving. We get a lot of DMs about this, and I'm kind of surprised. Hey, Wilson is now Spalding is the official ball of the NBA.
I was going to ask you about this, and I'm going to shut up and let you go. We got a great DM. That's a great DM. And by the way, it's my play. So I was going to do it later because it leads into my play. But perfect. You're the basketball guy.
Well, a lot of people talked about this. It wasn't one person. I think we had 2 or 3 people. 2 or 3 people. Cage, when he's deep in soda, he has to mute so that he doesn't talk because he's so excited.
Dude, I muted because you told me I talk too much, and I know you. At least this is a topic I know you can speak about, so I'm going to shut up.
Is that right? Did I say that? I'm not sure what you want me to say. We got a ton of DMs, and a lot of people point to 2 things. Some stars struggling early on in the year, Lillard, Harden being an example. to the ball being a little bit bigger. This is insane. The ball being a little bit bigger and them changing the ball from Wilson to Spalding. So it's or is it Spalding to Wilson? Let me just double check that. But Cage, do you know, is it Spalding to Wilson or Wilson to Spalding? If you could help me out and not put on Tiger early to switch to Wilson balls. Cool. Different feel, slightly bigger. So, and that's why scoring's down. That's why some of the players' scoring's down. Is your goal to make this episode as weird as possible?
Dude, people are going to love this, but I'm going to let you talk. Let's go. I got some great stuff to talk about with this. Great stuff. Go.
We have no rapport this episode at all.
Yes, we do. You just, I have thrown you off your game.
Yeah, almost intentionally.
No, man. I'm having fun with this. It's a great sports day. I'm having so much fun. And that topic was, because we got so many DMs about it, it's a great topic. It actually got me thinking about where the game is going. We started talking about it yesterday, not about the ball per se, but about how basketball looks like the 90s now. When you have the Heat and the Knicks and the Bulls in the top of the East. That's a different game. And we talked about the rule changes. We talked about people jumping into each other and not getting calls. And the ball is another part of that equation, right? Because if it's a bigger ball, the smaller guys have a harder time controlling it, right? Hard time shooting it. The bigger guys who are, less reliant on deep shots, they're dunking. I saw a great meme. I think it was Lamine James. I might be giving him credit for something. It was like, say, who's got no skill now? And it was Giannis making fun of Harden. Harden saying, "Hey, anybody can go out there and dunk." Well,
I did think about that. Like, are we going to see a resurgence of the big men? Right? Like we notoriously say big men, they're not respected in cards. The game has gone away from big men too. It's been all about like chucking the shot from the logo. But with this slightly harder to score type of thing. And I don't know if that's official or not. You guys out there, let me know. Is it the ball officially bigger or does it feel bigger? Because a lot of people who've played basketball know that you can have two balls. They're same size, but one feels bigger. So I'm curious if it's, effect or not. But
and sometimes one's lower than the other.
Lower.
He got it, folks. It took him a second. Sometimes you could have two balls. They're the same size. One feels bigger than the other. Sometimes one could be lower than the other.
I hope we go into halftime and come out with like a better second half performance.
So what's fun on this, right? So what's fun on this? Giannis has to be the play of the day, and let's get real fun with this, right, guys? So we got some great DMs. One was a Trouble T-Roy was one of the really good ones that we got, right? And he was talking about not just the feel of the ball, the grip of the ball, but also how some of the big men have a tougher time shooting free throws because of the previous ball, how it felt a little small in their hands, and how a ball like this, that even if it's not bigger, feels better in a bigger, that even their free throw shooting is going to actually improve. So layer that in, that's pretty crazy, right? So, I think Giannis is going to have an amazing year already, personally, stat-wise. They started off slow, so you might be able to grab some now before his cards kind of, go up. I think you're going to see them move up the rankings in the East, slowly but surely. I think 2 seed for them is probably the worst that you're going to see from the Bucks. They're just built differently. They have a great team. And the rules, teams are going to have to put the ball inside more. If the outside shot is not going to fall, right? Come on, dude. You got to stay with me. You're laughing. It's funny. I'm making funny jokes, and not everyone's going to get it.
I think that's why the Clippers struggle, by the way. If you look at that Clippers team, they're really jump shot heavy team, and they're really struggling.
But the thing is, will the NBA see this? Will the fans like this? Do fans want jump shooting? Do fans want it's not going to impact a dunker who's getting a better grip on the ball. Like, maybe this is why Ja Morant, whose outside shooting was never going to really improve, but whose athleticism and inside and, the ability to get inside and score and not have to rely on getting fouled because he dunks the ball like crazy. Maybe that's why he's performing the way that he's performing. Maybe it's why the guys who play a little more inside have been stronger. But listen, leagues, they can pivot on a dime, right? If people are complaining, if viewership starts to wane, baseball made little tweaks to start the season. Everybody hated it. There was like a no-hitter every day, right? It was, they weren't letting the pitchers, put snot on the ball. You put snot On the ball? Yeah, when you're my age, you got to try anything. Rub a little jalapeno.
I think it's been a great start to an NBA season, though. Like, I think I've watched the NBA for many years. This is as competitive as I've seen it in a long time. And maybe it's evened out the balance of power. You see more big men. The guards are struggling. Big men are succeeding. I'll tell you, if we just talk about the Celtics, man, that was such a – did you watch that game?
Yep, I did.
I gotta give Billy Donovan a lot of credit because this team was put together in the offseason. You have Caruso new, DeRozan's new, Lonzo's new. You didn't know how this team would mesh, and they're playing incredibly well. And they were down 19, and they came back. And it begs the question. I mean, Marcus Smart, he always has stuff to say. I'm a little bit torn on Marcus Smart. He kind of annoys me sometimes, but I know he plays hard too, so he gets a longer leash. But I don't think Tatum and Brown could coexist. And I actually had a great comparison. Some people are saying Tatum is the new Melo. Any thoughts on that? You've seen Melo play. Melo is one of your favorite. Maybe you hate Tatum so much because he reminds you of
Because
Melo.
I know the road you're going to go down with Tatum. I mean, he's got all the athletic gifts, all the offensive one-on-one isolation, that you can do. And he's going to have moments. He's going to have moments of brilliance, right? He's going to have big scoring games. He's going to hit big shots. But it's difficult to win with just him. And you know what? A Melo comparison is not the worst thing in the world. Melo just wasn't able to do it himself. He was never paired up with somebody who he needed to be paired up with. He was paired up in Denver with great players, but not a good championship partner over there, right? And even look, LeBron, you have to find somebody who complements you. Giannis, find somebody who complements. Middleton's like the best compliment for somebody like Giannis, right? Somebody who's more outside than in, right? Somebody who, who's a little more steady, a little less, big guy, right?
The issue with Melo is nobody found a place for him until he was the sixth man. And even as a sixth man, like it's really tough to find a place for ISO heavy players, right? Yep. Because they're very one-dimensional. They need the ball in their hands a lot. They need everyone to kind of get out of their way, and they go one-on-one. And it looks flashy, it looks beautiful, and they have these moments of a flare and flash.
Yep.
But to build a team around, you need to have, okay, I could work off of the ball and on the ball.
Correct.
And now you could build around it. I would be really nervous if I was holding Tatum cards. Not necessarily like nervous, like panic sell this week. It's just, history leaves clues. We see these patterns. And I can't now unsee it. And I'm curious if you guys listening agree. Is Tatum the new Melo?
Yeah, but I mean, the thing about it, though, is, Melo refused to change. And that's part of the thing, right? Melo always wanted to be the lead guy. Melo always wanted to be ISO. It had to be Melo's way or no way. And it actually caused him to miss a year of playing time. I mean, he's now, if he hasn't moved up to number 9th all-time scoring, he's darn close. Top 10 scorer of all time. Missing a year. Remember, he sat out. Nobody signed him before the Blazers brought him back in. And it was finally with the Blazers where he was like, all right, I'll take a backseat role. It doesn't have to be Melo's way or the highway, right? I realize I'm not at that stage of my career. If Tatum is willing to play a little more team ball and learn to play off the ball and not become Melo, that's the cool thing about history, right? You get to choose whether you learn from it or repeat it. So I wouldn't be nervous about Tatum. Tatum seems like a smart enough guy to realize that it's team success more than individual success. But who knows?
It's tough, though, Cage. It's really tough to change, the entire style of game, right? He grew up playing. It's a habit. It's a 25-year habit. I'll get ready. Is Giannis your play?
Giannis is definitely my play. 100%. Giannis is my play. Mostly because, here's why. I looked at the prices.
Did you just Google? I don't understand how you came to that play.
Well, I'll tell you. It was actually because of you.
Well, of course, but I mean, I've been talking. Why are you jumping on the Giannis bandwagon now after he had a terrible
because you jumped off season, right?
I didn't jump off of it. Don't put that on me.
Yeah, you did. So I'll tell you. You want to know? Well, I'll give you the explanation, right? So yesterday you insulted Giannis. You came out and you became a fair weather Giannis lover. You became somebody who, and it's not just you. It's a lot of collectors now. It's a lot of fans out there now. They're going to take Giannis for granted. If you look at his prices, they're actually lower than they were.
This is the most ludicrous episode I've ever done in my life.
And why? Why did you insult him? Yesterday, Giannis, who's the defending champ, the Bucks, who are the defending champs, the Bucks, who are the class of the East, we're told by one of the most respected sportscasters in the business, Andrew Goldberg, that the Knicks were going to win the 1 seed in the East. The Knicks, who couldn't even hang with the Raptors last night, right? The Knicks were going to be the 1 seed in the East. And you know what? It's a reasonable thing to say because Andrew is not the only one saying it. There are a lot of Knick believers out there. There are a lot of people who have watched 5 games with their newly minted league pass and have crowned the Knicks the champions. And you know what happens when this happens?
This is delusion. This is insanity.
People forget about the Bucks. And that's your buying opportunity, guys. If you check out Giannis's prices, he hasn't started the season off on fire, right? He's had 1 good game, followed by 1 average game, followed by 1 good game, and then 1 average game. I think he's going to string it all together, right? And here's the fun. Giannis will be a buy most of the season because as much as Andrew got it wrong with the Knicks being the 1 seed, there's one thing he's right about with the Bucks. The Bucks know they're going to be there in the end, right? They know they're going to be a high seed in the end. And the Bucks, I think, will take a page from what the Lakers have done. Go at 75, 80%. They don't have to go full. They got to stay healthy. They got to be there in the end. They got to go, and they'll be in the playoffs, and they'll make a run at it. And I think that the Bucks will easily be the East representative in the finals again. So during the season, when Giannis is doing okay, but everybody's cheering for the Knicks or whatever the flavor of the day is in the East, that's your time to scoop up your Giannis calls. Because when it comes to the finals again, he's going to be there. There you go.
I mean, I agree with that.
I know. I'm glad you do.
It's such a weird way to get to that point.
Well, because most of it is from you, right? So one it's serious and one it's tongue in cheek. The serious part is you're right. I think Giannis and that team realize that they are the class of the East, right? Which doesn't really say that much. The West is always amazing. I think during the year you're not going to see the best of Giannis. We've already started to see it. He's almost like taking quarters off. You know what I mean? Because they know they're going to be there. You've said this a bunch of times. But when you layer in the fact that when they're going at 80%, a team like the Knicks could have a week that makes them look like they're better. People jump off of Giannis.
Well, better and winning the conference are 2 different things.
That's 100% right. 100% right. So that's the tongue-in-cheek part, right? Because you're right, but people don't realize that. The people who collect, the people who have been in this for 12 months, the people who have star stock, take a look at what's going on with like Giannis's cards. Not just the rookies, but look at like star stock.
They're flat.
They're flat
with a little bit down.
And definitely a little down from the beginning of the season because what I've noticed, and it's not just Giannis, Trey, everybody else, everybody jumps in, and the only person that has stayed or slightly gone up is Ja. Right? Everyone buys in and they gamble on their first week MVP. And everybody that they buy, if they don't light it up and score 40 points a game and be the front runner after week 1 for the MVP, people jump off. People jump ship. And it's starting to happen already with Giannis, and I think it's going to continue a little bit now. His prices are not going to crater. This is still now an NBA champ, Defensive Player of the Year, MVP front runner. So his price is not, but you're going to be able to find his cards, I think, at bargains compared to what they're going to be when they're making their eventual playoff run. And that's my play. And when you layer in here why Giannis is the play, when you layer in not just the Knicks talk from yesterday, when you layer in the fact that the ball and the rule change will favor big men and possibly lead to better stats for those big men, more success for those big men, it just makes it Giannis is the leader in the clubhouse there, right? Because I'm not going to tell you to go invest in Embiid. Although Philly doesn't look so bad without Mr. Simmons, they don't look so bad. Maybe an addition by subtraction going on there. I'm not going to tell you to invest in Joker because I really did think that was like a flash in the pan type of season. Although he looks pretty good also. I don't know if he's winning MVP again. Giannis is the guy. And if the rule changes or the ball or whatever it's going to be, it's going to make his numbers even better than they have been.
Would you get the silver for $18,000 in a BGS 95?
The silver's expensive. I was looking at
not for you, not for a guy like you, Cage.
I was looking at the silver. The silver in BGS 10. I think it was in the last PWCC or the Golden. They end the same night, and then I get confused on which one is which.
I bet you're not going to pull the trigger. I don't think you got the stomach for it. You're out here buying like inserts from like 1934 that no one cares about.
Sumo wrestlers. I'm buying them
this
right
one
now.
Says Jam. I like Jam. Okay. PWCC Vault added.
The jams are in golden, and I love those inserts. That's jam. Those things are sick. Marbury, that's jam with grape jam on it. That's cool. That's a cool card, man. I actually pulled the Marbury one when I was a kid. I pulled it out of a pack with my brother. We had it. It's somewhere. I might even have it in my basement still.
If you guys can tell, we're about a month and change into this podcast, a year and change into this podcast. Cheers. And it doesn't look like we're going anywhere. So for some reason, sponsors and the hobby is taking a liking to this guy. Whether it's, his 8-minute tangents, it's his giveaways at National, it's his charisma, it's his amazing hairline. No one knows why people like it, but partners and
nobody knows
keep throwing money at us. And I wanted to make an announcement today, guys. We launched our Lucas Tigers NFT reward program. Now, you guys out there, it's not going to be for everybody, and that's okay. And it's not going to include everybody, but it is going to include a select few people, about 50 to 75, that have bought into us from day one. What we think is kind of our OG community. When we launched this Lucas Tigers NFT project, it was audacious. We maybe knew 20%, but it was kind of like sailing that Atlantic Ocean, when Christopher Columbus. We really didn't know what was ahead of us. And, we've learned a lot along the way. It's also uncharted territory because this whole industry is so new. So we don't actually know what we can and can't do just yet, right? Yep. We're kind of figuring it out as we go. Not just us, the whole industry, right? Like this week is NFT NYC. And there's so many cool ideas coming out of it. Just the Bored Ape Yacht Club. Now they're selling shirts. There's merch. There's sharing royalties. They're making movies. There's so many interesting things that that strong communities can do. And I think we're just at the precipice, really just at the beginning. So what we're doing is we're taking our sponsorship money from our last sponsor with Dibs, and we're splitting that amongst holders. Anyone who bought 2 Tigers, simply 2 Tigers on day one, or you could have 2 Tigers in your account now.
Anyone who owns 2 on a date in the future, we'll announce it, whether it's
September 5th. September 5th. You have 3 days.
November 5th. Anyone who has, so you can go buy one right now. You can go buy a second one right now if you only own 1. So anybody who wants to qualify this can qualify this. We didn't take a snapshot this morning and said, okay, you have to own 2. If you own 1, you can grab 1. You can grab 1 right now in secondary. For cheaper than Mint, you can go grab 1 in Mint. And good, if you mint 1, if you don't own 1.
Right. And if you don't own 1, we're going to do a mint 1, get 1 program. So if you go to lucastigers.nft, you mint 1, you shoot me a DM. You could shoot us a DM on Lucas Tiger Braun Podcast Instagram. You could shoot us a DM on our lucastigers.com. I apologize. And you click on start minting. You could mint 1. And if you do so, shoot me a DM and I will gift you 1 as well. So kind of meets the quota that way. So those are just 2 things. We'll be posting a whole roadmap. We're going to be doing a cigar night next year's national with appetizers, kind of an open bar.
Do the math on this really quick, guys, right? So right now.
Not everyone's a math guy, man.
But just do one quick. If you do one right now, if you mint 1 now with gas.
Stop saying meow.
Meow. Right meow. If you mint 1 right meow, do I look like a cat to you? Am I
kind of a tiger cat?
Or hibbity bibbity? Am I drinking milk from a saucer? So no,
I'm tired.
Stick with me. With gas, right? Let's just say a Tiger to mint right now is high 2s, 2 and change, 283, round to the $300 For that $300, you're gonna get 2 because we're gonna send you 1, right? So you get 2 Tigers for $300. And let's just say there's 50 people who qualify for this. We'll just call it 50 because it's round easy math. We are our entire Dibs sponsorship of $5,000. We're going to distribute that to anyone who owns 2. So if you go now and you mint 2, if it costs you $300, you'll own 2 Tigers. And if there's 50 people who qualify, you're going to get $100 back. So you're going to get, for $200, 2 Tigers, $100 each.
And it's a program, right? It took us some time to put it together because it's not going to be a one-off type of thing.
Right.
We wanted to make sure that we can do this, that we structure it the right way. And the reason why it's not just like, hey, here's a handout. We do genuinely believe we get a lot of our sponsorships because we have the best community.
Right.
So we want to give back. And this is for 1 month sponsorship, right? Imagine what we could do with that moving forward. So very much looking forward to it. If you guys don't know, NFT projects are long-term. They're very long-term. This is, if I were to compare this to anything, this is like website development in 1997, 98, 99. We don't know what Netflix is going to be. We don't know what the Uber of NFTs is going to be. It's so early on.
It's going to be us. It's good. Well, we're 5 weeks in, guys. We haven't even reached 6 weeks. We released this on September 22nd, right? And within 6 weeks, we have signed up because of you. And keep in mind, what Andrew's saying is 100% because of you guys, because of people who listen to this. Dibs came to us and said, we want to give frac packs to your guys. We want to give a discount code to you guys. We want to give you guys value and have you guys learn about our program, our system, our offerings. And they pay us. And we're just distributing that right back to you guys for supporting us and for putting us in the position that we're in to have those conversations with these sponsors. And it's just the first one, right? Just the first one. We said we're going to give you value. We've been saying that since day one. I know this is NFT talk, and we're probably spending a little more time than you wanted us to on this one. And we'll go right back to the sports in a second after this commercial break. But guys, we wanted to make sure you knew what we were doing, why we were doing it. This is the first of many of these. We can guarantee you that. And there are, in the last 5 weeks, there have been tons of these NFTs that have come out and they've disappeared. The team was anonymous. The team disappeared. The price went down. The Discord has been canceled, right? That's not us. And more will leave next month. More will leave the month after. And what will remain will be the ones that are blue chips and the ones that are delivering value for the people who are buying in. And that's going to be us.
We're working on a lot of cool stuff too. Like just to layer on to separate rewards. Look for a post this evening. There's a lot of cool utility of our shadowy coder is working on, Cage. And I don't want to kind of tease people, but he's working on an extension, a tool. No, we won't be taking all your data, so don't worry about that. Where you can scrape the internet and we see all these prices, but the prices aren't always true, right? There's a lot of ways to manipulate prices in the NFT world. And what we want to do is work on a tool that gives us clean data, right? We all know how important that is in sports cards. We're taking that model and we're saying, hey, we could also do that with NFTs. So we're working on something like that. There's a lot of cool stuff. Look for the announcement. It will be on Instagram tonight. Now, my play, bargain plays, NBA, guy that's, dude, I got to be honest. This guy doesn't get a lot of respect. At one point, he was compared to Jayson Tatum, except his team continuously wins. Jayson Tatum's team, I don't want to say continuously wins. His team has turned a corner, and that's obvious. The Celtics are kind of lost in no man's land. And honestly, this guy's market cap, if you want to do it that way, is significantly less than Jayson Tatum's. Do you have any guesses who I'm talking about, Cage?
Zach LaVine.
Nope, but he is good. I don't think Zach LaVine is cardboard relevant, but he is good.
So this guy's going to be cardboard relevant, but have a market cap of significantly less than Jayson Tatum.
Yeah, with more success.
With more success?
Yep.
Wow. There's no way I will get it. Are you going Tyler Hero again?
Yep.
Yes. Shoot. Who is he?
Devin Booker, man. So let me give you some numbers. Devin Booker has, take a guess how many PSA 10s real quick.
Of what card? His base
prism? The base prism.
2,000.
1,500. Cool? 1,500. Not a lot. Jayson Tatum has 5,400. Jayson Tatum's is 395 for the PSA 10. Devin Booker is sold for 540, 530, 560 for the PSA 10. So a little bit higher price, but way less pop.
D-Book's numbers are down. You think that's the ball? You think it's the foul calls?
I think that's a good thing. I think that's a good thing because it's the same thing that we were talking about. These guys are going to adjust. There's a slight adjustment period. Mm-hmm. I think the whole Phoenix Suns team is adjusting. They played deep into last year's postseason. They have to regroup, and now this, you have this emotional high of overachieving. And how do you rebound this year? But I'll tell you, man, this guy is one of those guys that, in my opinion, he works in silence. Not a huge personality. He's not always like pounding his chest. He's not doing selfies. But dude, he's in culture. He's with the Kardashian Jenner family, right? He's dating her. Maybe he'll be the first success story.
Jenner.
Yeah, sure. But they're all like one family, right? You know what I'm saying? They all kind of repost each other's Instagram stories.
So let me ask, a couple years ago, were you also investing in Chris Humphries?
No.
He was with that family too.
Do you see Pete Davidson's now with Kim Kardashian? What do you think about that? There's some rumors out there that.
Listen, the world of celebrity, I have to tell you, because I have now, thanks to our listeners, I have become a celebrity. So the world of celebrity, it's crazy. It's nuts. The celebrities that I've been linked to in a Star magazine, it's just nuts. Who is Cage with today? So I don't really believe it when I hear, Pete Davidson's with this lady, that lady. I mean, you should see the women I get linked to. I mean, no, guys, I'm not with Scarlett Johansson this week. I mean, I can't believe the things that just get posted.
What did you drink today?
Pete Davidson, give him some. That's a Staten Islander right there. Give him some credit.
I know.
Doing good.
He's a New Yorker.
Little Staten Island.
His stand-up comedy isn't the worst either. He's
good.
He's different.
He's good, and I mean it's got to be odd to go from Ariana Grande to Kim Kardashian though.
Dude, he was with that lady from Click. What's her name? Remember the movie Click?
Jennifer Aniston?
No, but she's incredible.
What Click? You mean the Adam Sandler movie?
Kate Beckinsale. Kate Beckinsale.
She was
the light's going down.
Also better known for the Underworld movies, where I would have gone for Kate Beckinsale. So yes, he's got Ariana Grande, Kate Beckinsale, Kim Kardashian. He's moving up in size. He went small, medium, large.
Dude, for real, like, is this like Ferris Bueller's Day Off? Except like,
you think I'm on the cocaine right now?
I'm not sure what you're on, man.
Dude, I gotta tell you, I'm having a blast. My favorite part of this episode is how shocked you are. After a year and a half, nothing that I do should shock you. I'm nuts.
I will take the L on this episode. I was not prepared. I thought it was going to be a casual episode.
Listen, do me a favor, guys. I want you to do me a favor. As you listen to this, we're 40 minutes in. We're going to kill it now. Andrew's play is Devin Booker. I thought I was being lazy with Giannis. He took the cake today. But I want you to send him a message. I want you to send a DM directly to Andrew's personal account and tell him what you thought of the episode, right? If you think this sucked, think, wow, Cage was really off his rocker today, tell him. That way he can send me a screenshot and be like, Cage, you're an idiot. You got to tone it down a little bit. Or if you spit your drink out a couple times, if you enjoyed this, if this helped you on your commute to work a little bit, you thought this was funny, it's different than all the other crap that's out there. But people, I think you should just buy F1 carts because they drive the cars very fast. Yes. No, we're different. I'm clearly a little different. So tell Andrew what you think, because I have a feeling those messages are going to be favorable. We're different, man. I'm a different breed. It's the most fun I have in my day. I got to let my hair down, and it's perfect.
Guys, it's another episode. I don't know what to tell you. I hope you like it. We try hard to take care of everybody. Everybody wants to be taken care of on day one, but it's not the reality, and we're not going to be building a community of participation trophies, of handouts. We need a community that supports others. If you didn't make the cut because you only have one tiger, there's people out there who bought two, and be happy for them.
We'll find somebody who bought three, and and maybe make a deal with them.
That's not what I was saying. My point is, we sometimes live in a culture where it's like me, 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 me. Sometimes you could just be genuinely happy that somebody else gets a benefit, and be grateful to be part of what I think is an awesome community where we all help each other. We all support each other. I mean, little things like, hey, where do you consign? Can you help me with this? I live in Europe. Can I ship cards to you? Little things like that don't even involve us. Just be happy for other people in the community. It comes around, right? So that's my final thing. I want to let you guys know, as much as I love getting all your DMs, don't be surprised. Sometimes I'm going to clap back with that same message of, this is what we're building. And we're not going to build a community of complainers, whiners, and entitled people. If you are those people, it's okay to not be a part of it. It's okay.
A concern.
Love you, Luca Nation. Bye.